Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Talk with Brandy. I am just wanting to talk a little bit about anxiety today because I feel like it's really important. One of the top two mental health challenges that we experience is number one is anxiety and number two is depression, or it could be vice versa. Those are the top two, and I can't remember exactly which way they fall, but I think I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I've been experiencing a lot of anxiety this past week, and ironically, when I do a video, I just kind of I get on and I just do it. But this has been really challenging for me on this topic, and I'm not quite sure why. So it's a little bit ironic. I'm trying to find the right light right now, so hopefully I don't look blurred because it looks blurry to me when I'm doing this. But anyway, anxiety is real, and I think it's really important to talk about it for a few moments. And I kind of want to have this conversation on how do we support our friends and our loved ones who experience anxiety. So anxiety can present in a number of different ways. Our heart rate can increase, our ability to think can be taken away, our minds might race. We can have a lot of illogical thoughts. I mean, things that are like catastrophizing things and those things. They might not be. Anxiety is, it's illogical in so many ways. Like, it just is there. But I want to validate the fact that it's real. Just because the thoughts that we might have going through our mind are illogical, it doesn't mean that your experience is not valid. And I think that's one of the reasons we need to have these open conversations with mental health. So this past week, I have a lot of positive changes that are going on in my life. And at the same time, it created a lot of anxiety for me. So I wasn't sleeping very well. I had a lot of racing thoughts, almost to the point where it was debilitating, because I didn't feel like I could move forward in some ways. And the beautiful thing is that I'm surrounded by many people in my circle who understand mental health and who understand the things that are difficult and hard. So, I knew that my thoughts that I was experiencing were completely just illogical. I don't know how else to say it. But it didn't mean that my experience wasn't real. And so when somebody is experiencing anxiety, it can look a lot different to anyone. And I know in our cultural tradition, there's a lot of things that people will say when people are experiencing anxiety. We oftentimes inadvertently can invalidate people. And I think it's really important to bring that to the forefront so that we can start creating different conversations and that we can create connections with those of us, with everyone, not just those of us. It was interesting. A while back, I teach to high schoolers at times with mental health, and the 4 topics we cover does cover anxiety, depression, bullying, and suicide. It was really interesting because a lot of these young adults, I'm going to call them young adults, teenagers, but young adults, were trying to reach out and ask me questions like, what happens when I talk to my parents and they won't listen to me? What can I do about that? And it was kind of breaking my heart because I think in our culture at times we've created this mind frame of invalidating people's feelings. And some of the things these youth were saying were, Mom, I have depression. And very well-intentioned, loving parents, we're not bad people, but we don't, mental health is not super mainstream yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there because we're having conversations like we are right now. So thank you. Thank you for help creating that space to continue to have conversations about mental health. But, a lot of the youth were just expressing that their parents call them dramatic. They say that they're just making it up. They say, just deal with it. You're fine. And I'm not going to say that's just for our youth. I want to say that that's for us as adults as well. So if we talk about it across the board, like these are our conversations. When somebody experiences something, we don't get to tell them that they're not experiencing that. We just don't. But we do. There'll be times where people might say, just put your big girl panties on. Or we say to men all the time, just grow some. I mean, deal with it. What are you, a sissy? I mean, inadvertently, we create a culture of shaming and blaming for people or any one of us who is experiencing something difficult. So I guess my challenge to you right now is, what would it look like in your life if you start to create different conversations with people around you? When people start to acknowledge and share with you their emotions and feelings, I really challenge you to sit with that and not fix it and to just validate. If we take all the things that we're learning from Brené Brown, I love her and I'm so grateful for her and all of her research. And I'm also grateful for Dr. Mate. Both of those people, again, I will constantly bring them up, are two people that I truly look up to. And Brené Brown really teaches us how to be vulnerable in those moments and how to hold that space. We don't have to know how to fix it, but when somebody shares something really difficult with us, and we might not know the answer, and that's okay. We don't have to know the answer. Because when somebody shares something with us, they're reaching out for connection. They're reaching out and they're saying to you, do you see me? Do you hear me? Am I important? Do I matter? So I want us to take that in for a moment and go back to anxiety. And again, for me, like, I know that my thoughts were completely irrational and I couldn't stop them. I couldn't stop them from coming. I couldn't stop the racing mind. I couldn't stop the fact that I couldn't sleep. And that is for anybody who experiences mental health challenges. We can't just turn it off, or else we would. We don't have that on and off switch. On, off, on, off. That'd be fabulous if we did. But what we do have is we have each other and we have the ability to create connection with one another. And so even though I knew my thoughts that were racing were illogical, I took that moment in those times to acknowledge within myself, like, this is really illogical. This is most likely almost 99.9% not gonna happen. But that didn't stop my brain from racing. It didn't stop my body from waking up at 3 a.m. to panic over things that were illogical. So I just want to take that space to acknowledge, like, any one of you who are experiencing anxiety or depression or whatever you're experiencing, it's real. And I want us to validate the fact that these are real and that they just don't go away on its own. I do believe, however, and again, I'm not a therapist, I'm speaking from a peer support lens, and I'm speaking from the things that I've read and studied on my own. But I do strongly believe and know that so many of our mental health challenges that we experience, especially depression and anxiety, stems from trauma. There's experiences in our lives that create a survival mode in us that also creates the inability for us to thrive until we start to see it. And I know where my illogical thoughts were coming from, because in that moment when I'm experiencing that, I stop to kindly reflect within myself and ask myself, where is that thought coming from? Why am I feeling this way? What is it within me that is having to hold this anxiety? And I won't share all of the reasons for me right now, but I mean, I'm very open, and I know that I've shared that a lot of it stems from experiencing abuse and some neglect. And at the same time, I experienced a lot of positive things in my life growing up. There were a lot of positive adults, and including my parents, and even though they were imperfect, they were amazing people. And still, to own that truth, I experienced a lot of things that were really hard, and therefore depression and anxiety are things that I also experience that go along with experiences from my childhood. So my hope is, by talking about anxiety briefly today, that we just hold that space for one another to know that this is real, to know that when somebody shares something that is difficult for them, that instead of responding to them in invalidating ways, such as, you're being dramatic, that's not really that hard, or you just need to put your big girl panties on, or you just need to grow some. Instead of those phrases, can we cultivate the space to say, gosh, that must be really hard, or thank you for sharing that with me. I'm here for you. If we can just start to see one another in those small ways are going to create huge waves, rippling effects of resilience in one another. I know it because I've experienced it. And this week in anxiety, I was able to move forward. I got over it. I was able to have some concrete information come through, but without that concrete information, my brain was overworking. It was in high gear and I couldn't stop it. So I want you to know, if you're experiencing anxiety or if you're experiencing depression or whatever mental health challenge you're experiencing, that's real. You are important. You are valid. You matter to me. And together we can create a beautiful culture of kindness and connection. But I can't do it alone. We have to continue to build this together. So will you continue to build this together with me? Let's do it together. We're not alone. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to, there's a great saying, and I totally just butchered it, so I don't remember it. I'll have to bring it back to you. If you go fast, you go alone. If you want to, I don't remember it. See, this is a great thing if I had somebody with me who knows all these things. But, again, we'll bring that conversation next time. But I want you to have a beautiful week. I hope you know that you are loved, you are valued, you are important, you matter to me, and you matter to the people in your life. And my hope is that we will stop withholding the love that we have in our hearts for one another. Because I can't feel the love that you don't willingly show and express, and neither can you. So let's make it a goal that together that we can share the kindness and the love that we have in our hearts with others. And I know it just isn't going to come easy. I know that people aren't just going to go, oh my gosh, I just totally love you. I want to share with you. I want to bare my heart and soul to you, because we're all hindered by trauma in some way. And my hope is that you're going to be able to heal from that. And my hope is, by doing these videos, that we will create the ability for you to heal one day at a time. Please like, share, subscribe, help me to grow this community. I would love to do my videos live, which is fun. I do them on Facebook Live because they don't have the criteria where you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And ironically, on on Facebook and Instagram, I have over 1,000 subscribers and, friends on Facebook, and I was able to do that within a year. And this is new for me, so help me to grow it. Help me to continue to be the light into the world so that each one of us can grow and feel loved. If you ever want to be a guest on Coffee Talk with Brandy, please feel free to message me on Facebook at Coffee Talk with Brandy or Instagram at Pure Support or Brandy Pure Support. Have a beautiful day. I hope that this video was helpful for someone, because that's my goal. Is I just want to bring love to people, and I want to bring kindness. So have a beautiful day. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.